Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again. And that must mean that I am Professor Robert E.G. Black, and this is the Groundhog Day Project.
It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
It's a thing where the same day keeps happening.
Time.
I wake up every day right here, right in Punxsutawney, and it's always February 2nd.
The last revision is what counts, apparently.
Minute 6, we get a little bit more of, well, Phil and Rita in the van. We don't get a lot of Larry here. I think we do get a glance at him. And then we go back to what I call the quote-unquote title song with a little more driving footage. And then we are introduced to Woodstock, Illinois, pretending to be Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. We start with Rita. She has leaned forward with last time, I think it's a nice story. He comes out and he looks around. He wrinkles up his little nose, and she does this cute little wrinkling little nose thing. She's got her hands up like paws. He sees his shadow. He doesn't see his shadow. It's nice. People like it. And she's right. Thousands of people go to Punxsutawney to watch Punxsutawney Phil. Now, however many, I don't know how many hundreds or thousands show up at Woodstock for Woodstock Willie, or what are the other towns that have groundhogs? There are like 6 different towns that do this on Groundhog Day morning every year. And the biggest being Punxsutawney, of course, and then probably the second biggest being Woodstock, but it might be that Canadian one that I can't remember the name of. Because it's nice. People like it. They like a special occasion. They like an excuse to be out in the cold and act like, yes, this rodent. Wait, no. Groundhog's not a rodent. It's a marmot. This little animal is going to predict the weather or predict the seasons. It is nice. And people do like it. And Rita doesn't care how it's going to go. He sees his shadow. He doesn't see his shadow. It's good for her either way, as a producer and as a person. And Phil, of course, has to be insulting. You are new, aren't you? And then he says, people like blood sausage, too. People are morons. I love the use of blood sausage as his example, because there are so much more interesting things he could have said. I think a lot of people in the audience, I think they use blood sausage because even if you've never heard of it before, it doesn't sound appealing. If you've had it, you might even like it. I've never had blood sausage, and I'm now a vegetarian, so I don't think I'd try it. I mean, if someone offered it to me and I was in Punxsutawney, I might have to, just on principle, but I wouldn't like it. Or I wouldn't like trying it, but it probably tastes like other sausages. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of blood in regular sausage. I don't remember exactly how they make blood sausage. I know it's mostly blood, but it's also mixed with other stuff from the meat and everything else, and it is like left to congeal until it's solid, and they make it into sausages. It doesn't sound very appealing to me. But he's just saying people are morons because they like food. Maybe they like that food because at some point their people were starving and needed to eat everything that was available. So they ate the meat, they ate the fat, they ate the blood and the gristle, and then it became a cultural staple. Phil has to dismiss everything that he doesn't like. But Rita calls him on it, at least a little bit. Nice attitude, she says. She's being sarcastic, of course. And he says, I want you to look in the mirror and see what you look like when you do that little groundhog thing. Okay, for me, once. And then he imitates her doing the little paws up, showing off the teeth thing. He comes out there and he looks at his little shadow. He's being rude. It's like his natural state is just to insult everyone because let's be honest, because he doesn't feel good about himself. This is the hurt people kind of deal. Phil thinks he's better than his job because he went to Case Western High, and Case Western High was a private school run by a college. Interestingly, I am currently recording from inside a classroom where I am teaching for Upward Bound in a USC classroom. So I am teaching for a private high school in a college course. Case Western High was that. It was a college program for high school students. It wasn't really called Case Western High. It was like Case Western Reserve University, and they had a high school program. There was never actually anything called Case Western High, but still. he went to a nice little school in Cleveland, and he probably started doing the weather in Cleveland. Graduated up to Pittsburgh, which is definitely a bigger city, but it's not New York. It's not Los Angeles. It's not, I'm guessing, what else would be big for network weather news? No, it's probably just LA, and maybe Chicago would be good, which is amusing because they're filming around Chicago for most of this movie. Because Woodstock is just west of Chicago. Like 30 minutes to an hour, the drive was. I went there in 2014 for Groundhog Day. So I drove on the road they're going to be on at the end of this minute. And he asks her, would you like some blood sausage? I have some here in the glove compartment. He makes like he's reaching to open the glove compartment. And Rita once again calls him on his bullshit. I like blood sausage. Does she like blood sausage? I don't know. Maybe. But maybe she's just challenging him because she, as a producer, knows he needs to be challenged. She can't just let him roll over her. That's not her job. Then we get some exterior shots. Another one from the route from Pittsburgh to Punxsutawney, where they're getting off of one highway onto another one. And then we get road in, which is on the way to Woodstock, where they go past the billboard for Groundhog Day. Punxsutawney, that is on the road to Woodstock. I believe they are actually driving south, if I remember right, which is the wrong way to get to Woodstock, but that's okay. Reality is not the film. The film is not reality. And I forget when the song comes back up. I think as soon as we're with the van, we get more lyrics. They say it's gone, say winter's done. If we're taking this as the rom-com sort of song, I'm not sure the tone here. That don't mean a thing. What does that don't mean a thing here? They say it's gone, say winter's done. He's saying like other people say you're just gonna, maybe it's like other people say you're just gonna cheer up and you have to get over it. And then, no, I'm the weatherman. So, cause I'm the one that moves the sun. For you, I had turned it into spring. It's this creepy, pushy, romantic notion. So when you're feeling lonely, try to understand, baby, I can, it cuts off midline, but baby, I can warm you up because I'm your weatherman. So the lyrics are still on the nose, a little creepy, a little pushy. They definitely fit because this feels like the kind of thing Phil would say. Meanwhile, at the end of this minute, we are introduced to Woodstock. They are driving south into the town square, and the shot will continue into next minute, so I'll really talk about it there, but this is a fantastic shot. I love this shot because it tracks around and gives us a view of the entire square, so we kind of get a vague sense of where everything is. Because we're going to be in this square a lot. That's why they picked Woodstock. They wanted a town with a town square because the town square is contained and feels like a container. Feels like a jail, a prison. Phil is trapped in this place, or he was going to be. The actual Gobbler's Knob is outside of town. It is basically a stump on a hill outside of Punxsutawney near the woods. It's not like this. It's not right in the middle of the town. But again, reality is not the film is not reality. And we are also introduced in the background, off to the left, on the marquee of the theater, Heidi 2, a family classic. While yes, there was a sequel novel to Heidi, and I think there had already been a film version of it. I think Courage Mountain came about before Groundhog Day. The only movie called Heidi 2 at this point was a pornographic film that I have already talked about in this show. I won't bring it up again here. But they chose this. They were thinking of using, at one point they thought of using It's a Wonderful Life on the marquee, which I think is both inappropriate and a little on the nose. Somehow it's both of those things at the same time. Because It's a Wonderful Life is about a guy seeing what the world would be like without him, which doesn't fit a time loop. This isn't Phil getting to see what the world is like without him. This is Phil getting stuck in a world he doesn't want to be in and seeing being forced to see what he's like. It's almost the opposite of It's a Wonderful Life. But also, It's a Wonderful Life, if you aren't familiar with it, or have only seen it once or twice on some Christmas sometime. I've actually only seen it once because I didn't grow up doing Christmas. It is, immediately you get the sense of wholesomeness. Similarly, you see Heidi 2, If you're familiar at all with the idea of what Heidi is, you know, wholesome, family classic has got to be true, but also it says Heidi 2, and that's interesting because was there a sequel? And is the sequel a family classic if I haven't heard of it or haven't seen it? If I'm correct, The Courage Mountain came out before Groundhog Day, then I guess I had seen Heidi 2 before Groundhog Day, but I don't remember the timing on that one. But as they're driving, they come in south toward the thing. They're going to turn right. So they're going to turn. But across the street, we see, well, we can see the alleyway, but we don't know it, where the old man dies later. And we can also see the diner. But we'll get more of the map and the general lay of the land for the town square next minute. Until then, watch more movies.
You were gonna say that.
This has been a production of Lemming Drops Studio. You can find links to more at lemmingdrops.com or join the Facebook group Lemming Drops Studio Tour. Also, you can support all my shows at patreon.com/lemmingdrops.
What is wrong in the end which never comes? Or which comes again and again, lapping, like waves.
Since the Big Bang set everything in motion, everything that happens in this universe has to be the way it is. Particles unfolding the way they're destined to.
How do you sleep at night? You've never seen Groundhog Day?
Yeah, you know Groundhog Day is not a documentary.
Remember when Groundhog Day was just a movie?